Hello and welcome back to Dapper Drams for part 3 of the Wee Laddie tasting collection from Bruichladdich. For the final review, we have the heavily peated Port Charlotte Scottish Barley. Now, I'm not really sure where the line is between lightly peated and heavily peated, but this is peated to a level of 40 ppm, parts per million, or more accurately, 40 ppm, 40 phenol parts per million. To put that into perspective, other heavily peated scotches like Laphroaig or Ardbeg are peated to around 45 and 55 ppm respectively. The Octomore line from Bruichladdich is considered super heavily peated, and the peat levels range on that one anywhere from 80 to over 300 ppm. And as I said before in the previous videos, it's a real shame that they did not include the Octomore line in this set as a fourth bottle. Very sad. So, on to the whiskey. Like the other two expressions in this set, this is bottled at 50% ABV. It is natural color, and it is non-chill filtered. It also uses 100% Scottish barley. So let's go in for a nosing and a tasting and see what we've got on hand today. The nose is sweet, with plenty of peat to it. Lemon citrus, almonds, and almond butter. There's a big hit of smoky, vinegary barbecue sauce, barbecued ribs, and smoked salmon. Fairly salty, like sea air and green olive brine. It's a touch medicinal, like iodine. I mean, it's nowhere near Laphroaigian levels, which Laphroaig is very famous for its medicinal properties, medicinal notes to it, which I love, by the way. Vanilla, grilled apricots and nectarines, maybe plums. There's a real sweetness behind all the smoke. Barley sugar, yellow apples, both fruit cake and spice cake, with like a toffee mapley glaze on it. A slight minerality to it, and some sawdust. I don't get a lot of oak here, but a little sawdust. Floral notes like dry grass and hay. And just a hint of red wine. Lovely. So why don't we move on to the palate? The palate is strong and peppery. Youthful. Not as spicy as the Isle of Barley, but it has a little spice to it. Very peaty and smoky. Ashy. Charred oak. Like a big old burning log that was pulled out of a bonfire and then doused with seawater and covered up with dampy, mossy earth. if you can get that picture, that's kind of what it tastes like, but in the best of ways. It's slightly fruity, with apricots mostly, light lemon. That's about all the fruitiness I can pick up with all that peaty smoke in the way. There's heat at times, but it's not too bad. It's also not that complex. Mostly the peaty notes. There's some green oak in there as well. Medicinal. And some barley sugar. Let's try a little bit more. maybe it's not as simplistic as I thought. Caramelized and or burnt sugar, some cinnamon, ginger, and graham crackers. That's interesting. As far as the score goes, I'm going to rate the Port Charlotte Scottish Barley 56 out of 70 heavily peated grains of barley. Of course, as always, the question of the day is this a dapper dram? Yes, it is. Even though I found the palate to be lacking in complexity, like the Islay barley, which I deemed not dapper for the very same reason, the peat adds a much needed contrast to the barley heavy profile. And it adds complexity to the nose. For those reasons, I'm elevating this above the Islay barley and the classic Laddie, to be honest, as the top spot in the tasting collection. Now I would like to take a moment and talk about the tasting set as a whole. I've had other sample sets from the likes of Glenmorangie and Compass Box Whiskey, but this one is different. It's more unique. I think it shows a little bit more, I don't know, pride maybe. Maybe pride isn't the right word, but it shows that they really wanted to give a good impression of what they have to offer. It's unique in the fact that these are 200 milliliter bottles, which I find really gives you a better chance to get to know the whiskey. The Glenmorangie, like I mentioned, they give 100 milliliter bottles, which is enough to do a review, but you need a little bit more to really know what you're dealing with. In the Compass Box, they only give you 50 milliliters per sample, which is good for a taste, but it's just not enough. It's not enough to really get to know the whiskey. Now, to be fair, the Glenmorangie and Compass Box tasting sets give you 4 and 5 different whiskeys, respectively, whereas the Bruichladdich only gives you 3. Again, it should have been 4 with an Octomore thrown in there, but that's what they gave us. In addition to the larger bottles, you have this nice big box that it came in. Very nice with, let's get these out of the way for just a moment. It has this nice oversized box, and the lid, if you can see, snaps shut and it's magnetically closed. So there's no chance of it opening up accidentally, unless you drop it maybe, I guess. There's also these nice felt or whatever that is, line dividers. Just, little things that make it nice and quality product. They also have this little information booklet that they include in here with, basically this is just kind of a lot of marketing stuff. It goes into the history of the distillery, what they're all about. Some nice pictures in here. You can see. Sorry. Pictures, descriptions of why they use the barley that they use, the traditions that they have. No real tasting notes about each whiskey, which you can toss that up, good or bad, doesn't really affect anything. It's just nice to see that they include something like that. It just shows you that they're trying to impress you, and they want to really give you a good overall understanding of what they're all about. This set is currently selling for about $60 to $75 in the US, depending on where you're getting it from. And I would say that that's a pretty good deal. For 3 whiskeys, you're getting, not total amount, not quite, a full bottle of 600 milliliters versus a 750 that you would normally get here. But you also get this nice packaging, information about the distillery, which I'm sure you could find anywhere you want it online if you searched for it. But it's nice. It's all here in a nice little package. I would say if you haven't tried any Bruichladdich and you want to get a feel for what they're all about, this is a perfect way to do it. I wish other distilleries would offer sample packaging like this. It's a very nice way to get to know a distillery. And if you don't like it, you're not forced to drink a whole bottle. Of course, you're never forced to drink anything, but that's beside the point. Go ahead and pick one up if you see it online. You might see it in stores around the holidays. I'm not really sure. I haven't seen it myself in person personally, but you might. So if you enjoyed these videos, please hit the subscribe button, give us a like, hit the little bell icon to make sure you're always up to date with our new releases, whenever they may come. And check me out on distiller.com. Just search for the username generously_Paul, where you can read this and all of my reviews. Thanks for watching, Dapper Drams. We'll see you next time.